Hey everyone, this is episode 7 of Sparda's World Podcast. I'm your host, Sparda 3G, and this is the last episode that is going to be releasing on Saturdays because for the next episode, it will be releasing on Tuesday and following Friday. So that's the schedule is going to be like from this point forward. Until I say anything else, like maybe a reschedule or delays or anything like that, is going to be Tuesday and Friday. And judging from the recent manga releases, yeah, I believe I made a right choice. I have no idea what these schedules like. I was used to back then with only Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, the Weekly Shounen Jump being on a Thursday. Well, actually, back then it was actually on a Wednesday. Now it's a big different story. I don't know why they keep changing up the scheduling. Well, then again, they all been done by different people, different translators. So I really can't argue about the whole situation. I would say that it is kind of hard to keep following track, and there are mangas that actually are far behind than the recent chapter. Like I believe one of them could be Akatsuki no Yona. I'm sorry, and it's kind of hard for people to follow it in daily basis. I could get the wrong manga, in fact, but my point is there are series that are behind their scheduling. But you can't really blame them. You are getting them for free, so I really, I still give them my support because these things aren't easy. It takes a lot of times. You have to do the cleanup. You gotta do the translation, and get your Like I have been following Imperial Scans for a while, and I can see how much work they had to do. And it doesn't help when some of them are in a vacation or doing other jobs, but like everyone else, they're just people, so you can't really try to hate on them or argue back at them. If anything, you just say you understand them because everyone is just human and everyone has their own life. So that being said, it's still hard to follow what is coming up or not, and I'm doing my best to try to keep in track of everything. Like I said, Tokyo Ghoul, I believe as of now, is going to be delayed, and it might be releasing much later than before. Before, it was usually on a late Saturday, early Saturday, maybe Sunday. Now, it might be releasing on a late Monday, but I could be wrong. Anything is possible. Anything is different from each or every other days. So, I still support these fan translator and whatnot. So you gotta deal with it. And again, you're getting it for free. What can you say? So yeah, that being said, this new scheduling of my podcast is gonna be from Tuesday and Friday, and I had breaking up which chapters are going to be reviewed anime episode. Well, that'll be coming soon because I haven't picked up an anime at this time. I of course I have listed so many of them, and I still want to see some of the ones that from the past seasons, such as Parasite, Death Parade, and so on. So I really want to see those animes as well. And I'm going to see the anime that has been continuously going on for a while, like Fairy Tail, stuff like that, just to see how they work with the manga transition. It's the same thing as One Piece, but I'm way behind for that one. But we'll see in due time. I'm give it to May. That's when I start watching anime once more, and I am going to watch the ones that are out right now, like Fate Stay Night, and the bigger ones, even the underrated ones, because there are a lot of anime that are underrated, and then not a lot of people really pick on it because they probably never heard of it. It's probably very on the low, and it is nice that Funimation, Crunchyroll, and so on are picking these up, regardless if there is not a huge popular demand. But at least a lot of people get to see what these shows are made of. I have heard Death Parade didn't really pick on by a lot of people until the ending. Then a lot of people decided to watch that, and a lot of people actually praised the anime itself. Madhouse has once again done his great job, and because of that even caught my attention. So there you go, the whole chain of passing down of what piqued their interest. It's the same thing with Tokyo Ghoul and every other series, if whatnot. Even with anime, when you get anime adaptation like Tokyo Ghoul, sometimes it could be a hit, it could be a miss, and I'm not talking about the quality. Rather, I'm talking about the idea of like advertising the manga series. Now, it has been reported that Tokyo Ghoul manga sales has been doing well, and it didn't really it didn't push greatly as Attack on Titan, but it has pushed well enough for everybody to recognize. Tokyo Ghoul Re Volume 1 and 2 has been on the chart for quite a while, and it is an improvement, and it is nice to see them selling more than ever. It hasn't hit the million mark, but it is doing more than it needed to be. The reason why I brought this up is because they are manga series that get an anime adaptation, and the adaptation sometimes doesn't do anything different. Sometimes they do a huge difference, or sometimes they just do a difference, period. And Tokyo Ghoul, the anime made it different by having them curious how the manga series works to the newcomers, and it does its job, and the sales has been going up well. There are other series like Toriko. From what I heard, the anime didn't do so well because there are a lot of circumstances, and they did have one filler character that pretty much become a prominent role, which I don't know. Actually, that's not a good idea. You don't want to interfere the main story. So it seems like because of that, the anime was canceled or stopped, and I don't know if there's anything foreseeable future. And the sale hasn't been doing so well anymore. It didn't make much difference. I don't know that Full Wars is gonna do a great justice because the anime adaptation has been out for 3 weeks, I believe, and I don't think there's any increasement yet. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. Assassination Classroom is doing a great job in terms of boosting up the rate, the sales. And it's a lot of them has been hitting over the million marks, including the old volumes and so on. And they got the live movie adaptation; it's doing really well in the box office, stuff like that. I guess it just takes its time, or it does come in the full effect of a boost. So with that being said, I guess I was hoping Tokyo Ghoul were to do really well with the anime adaptation. For my belief, I do believe that if it was handled the same way as Attack on Titan, because if you look at Attack on Titan anime, they really pushed the bar. I'm not saying it's the standards for every anime. It's not. But they really put everything they got into that anime. The animations, the art, the soundtrack, everything, the whole presentation, it made it feels like it's way more than it is. And by itself, it is still a good manga, a pretty good one at that. But the anime made it seem like it is like the king of kings and everything else like that. So I'm not saying Tokyo Ghoul should do that, but it should have a better adaptation. For my belief, I would Madhouse is taking over One Punch Man, and if they do it really justice, which they most likely will, because One Punch Man and Madhouse, it seems like a great mix. And it's funny because when you read One Punch Man is has a really great art, and it almost seems like it's Madhouse's greatest challenge. Because I'm not saying Madhouse could provide great art, but the fact that One Punch Man does provide the full animation effect, which is unbelievable, to be honest with you, if it could provide something that equals, if not better, if it can't provide that, then it's not a bad thing, because again, the manga itself is really great, and if it does accomplish that, then that's a huge kudos to give Madhouse for. So in due time. But yeah, again, I just wish these anime adaptation from these series get a better treatment in order to shine. I always keep hearing World Trigger anime is such a disaster. I don't know how bad it is, but I keep hearing it's really terrible. I don't know about the manga, but the anime I keep hearing is just atrocious. Maybe that's pushing too far. I don't know. So maybe I'll find out myself in one day at a time. So this episode is going to be pretty short because One Piece is absent from this week, and Bleach is absent this week as well. And that's because Kubotita is sick, and pretty much Bleach is delayed to 1 week. And anything is possible. Maybe he could get another break this week. I'm not sure how badly sick he is, but I do hope for the best for him, because it is hard when it comes to being a mangaka in Weekly Shounen Jump, no less. As a lot of people has been saying, it's kind of hellish in there. Even Kishimoto would say the same thing. So basically, I'm just hoping he gets better, and hopefully he gets back up and do what he does best. Continue providing Bleach, and continue living on. So that being said, it's going to be a short episode with the absence of 2 Weekly Shounen Jump mangas. How about that? So there you go. Now we got some news. The funny thing about Madhouse, speaking of Madhouse did Death Note, and now apparently Death Note is getting a live TV drama. It's something I would never. Well, okay, I wouldn't say I would never guess, but it's rather amusing to see an old series coming back again in a live action form. This is the second time being a live action form, since the first time they had 2 movies. Both are pretty separate from the original story, and seeing a live live TV drama, which is coming out this July. Yeah, I actually want to see how it works. I can't really put my hopes on the fact that the whole those demons. I don't think the CG technology would be great. I just hope it be not laughable. That's all I could ask for. But other than that, a TV drama, it kind of interests me. It is worth noting that this anime, I remember, I haven't seen the anime TV ratings, but I do remember the specials, the two-part specials with new clips. The one is, I think, is an OVA. The one, the first half described the entire L versus Light, and the other one is the Light versus the other two, the successors. Now, I remember seeing the TV rating for them, and it was crazy to see. Like, I'm not much of a TV rating person, but I remember seeing it, I believe, either like a 16.1, 18.4, something like that. It was really high. It was like Dragon Ball Z level high. I can't say One Piece high. It used to be really high. It still is, but it used to be like in a 12 or 13. Now it's like in a 9, maybe 10, which is still good. But again, Death Note, it had a 16. I was like, holy crap. How popular is this series? I thought it was just, it's just a popular, it's a popular series, yes, but I thought it would not be that grand, Well, for anime at least, which is, again, it's still shocking to see that much of a growth. So, that being said, you get live TV drama, you get the movies, which already happened, but the live TV drama is here. I believe they're making a musical again, so there you go. I'll look into that. Speaking of live TV, well, this ain't live TV, but we have Attack on Titan live action film that is set on August 8th, and the second part will be on the September 19th. And this again, it's only been 2 years from the anime and already getting a live movie adaptation. I don't know how it's gonna work. I mean, I saw the trailer. It's fine, but I don't know how. I don't know if it's gonna be like, whoa, like I'm not expecting Hollywood budget, but maybe I'm expecting a passable budget. But who knows? It could be okay. It could be good. It's just amazing that this series is getting that much of a treatment already. You got the Universal Studios, its own Attack on Titan category, amusement area, and whatnot. It seems like, to me, I feel like Attack on Titan popularity has in fact overboomed more so than Naruto in probably worldwide. I can't really say that with 100% confidence. I just know in the USA and Japan, it seems that's the case. I mean, how many anime manga series can you say, hey, my series was in a Marvel comic book? And that's Attack on Titan. They had that. It's strange, but the fact is, they even got that level of interest. And then you pass it down with the Marvel fans, and then it's like, oh, I want to read that. Maybe, or maybe it's like, oh, that looks stupid. I don't know. It depends on the people's opinion. Point is, the popularity has skyrocketed greatly. I'm surprised we haven't got an anime, anime season. I know it's coming out next year, but this is a huge marketing ploy. This is a huge marketing series. So you would assume that at the very least they could try to like, hey, can we ask for you to write a story for us, make it like a filler, exclusive anime exclusive? Can you do that for us? Something like that. But they didn't do that. Instead, they're just gonna wait up and let the other guys do the whole, pushing the market beyond, such as live movies, the OVA, which I haven't seen, but I heard it's pretty good. And and so on. So I don't know. I give them credit for the anime season to not to try to milk the franchise more than it needed to be. So there you go. Now Parasite, the anime ended. The first movie has already been shown. Now we're gonna have the second one, and I believe it's coming out April 25th. So next week. I believe that is next week. I actually want to see the first one. I just want to see how it is. I still want to see the anime itself as well. And it's it's nice to see how Parasite has been resurfaced, because the manga is old, but the anime and the franchise itself is I guess you could say it's finally shiny. Its momentum is finally showing this series. I wonder why it took that long. I don't know why it took that long. If you know the answer, you could leave a comment here. But I don't know why it took this long to make an anime adaptation. And then all of a sudden, it skyrocketed. We have the live movies part 2 coming out now. And I did hear the first one received well. I'm not sure it was great. I'm not sure it was bad. I don't know. I just know the box office, it did good. I know, people did praise. I seen some critics review. I really can't read them because it's Japanese. But other than that, it seems good. So, I don't mind checking that out. And lastly, we got Weekly Shounen Jump announcing 3 new series that's going to come out in May. I believe in May. And you only got some shots, 1 panel shots. One is a dancing, the other 2 I don't really know what to expect. So 3 of them are, pardon me if I cannot really pronounce this, because it's kind of hard to pronounce these names. And me, I'm not really good at pronouncing these names or pronouncing anything. So yeah, in the 24th issue of Weekly Shounen Jump, there's gonna be like 3 new series. One is like by Takama Yokota, Sishuji Wopin. I don't know which one is that out of the 4 choices I see. I'm sorry, 3 choices I see. The one that's coming out first, I believe that's coming out in May 11th, is a dance. It's a Shikaku Kyogi Dance Boo. Yokoso. Yeah, that's a long name. But yes, that's the dance manga. I don't know how that's going to work, but it is an interesting take in a Weekly Shounen Jump base. So, I'm welcome for anything new. I'm welcome for anything fresh. It could be good. It could be bad. First impression could be a weak impression, and then down the line it could be, it's really good, and stuff like that. And then you have another one called the Beady Man. Judging from that panel, I don't know what to expect. I just know this is weird guy with horns on his head, and then it's just normal kid with a giant hat. That's the last one that's gonna come out in Weekly Shounen Jump. I just hope they don't get canceled right away, or they don't become a major disaster. Maybe just disaster is exaggerated. But point is, I just don't want them to be a pretty disaster. Because last year I found out that that there are like over 14 manga series introduced in Weekly Shounen Jump, and 14 of them were canceled. Not good. And it's the highest record so far. I think it's the highest record so far, or at least the highest record in decades. So, I'm hoping we get a new ones, because right now, who knows when Bleach ends? They need something else. One Piece is not going to end, so they'd be okay with that. But still, it's good to have more than not, or more than less, Boku no Hero Academia is doing good. They are pushing that, Black Clover, and I forgot the other series. It has a kind of, I can't say it's strange art, but it's a little bit unique. That kind of stands out from the rest. I don't remember the name though, and I don't know if it's doing good in rankings. I know Boku no Hero is doing well. In fact, it was challenging against Toriko. How about that? Toriko is the one that got a major push from the anime studios, and you even got them collaborating with One Piece. That's a huge push. That's like not passing the torch per se, but more like extra boost. I don't know. I guess you could say it's just an extra boost, for the lack of better words. They did everything to make Toriko seems like the next coming. Now I don't know. It doesn't say anything much anymore. Just being probably a good series, just a shonen series, another Shonen Jump in the line. I don't know. Right now, Boku no Hero, they really pushing that one. They might start pushing Black Clover, and they got Haikyuu already up, so they're good with that. They're good with One Piece, of course. And yeah, I guess they just need more bottom manga. Maybe the last two in the new series that's coming out, they could be good. Maybe they could be something to look forward to. But we'll see. Oh, now I just made a mistake. Okay, let me say this again. The dance manga is actually a very long title. It's actually, if you recall, I said two names. Well, those two names are actually together. That's a really long name. And maybe if it gets popular, if it gets good, I'm going to find a way to shorten that name up, because, oh boy, it's a long name. Unless I'm reading this thing wrong, but it seems like a long name. But we'll see. But to correct my mistake, the other manga series is the second one. It's called Lady Justice. I don't know what to expect. I just know there's a woman in there, and the guy is like falling down, looks scared. I guess she's like a hero. The guy is like a bystander character, more like I can't really describe them well, but the kind of character that just stick around and don't really fight, but just watch them doing the fighting. No, I don't want to call them cheerleaders, but think as Elizabeth from Seven Deadly Sins. except that it seems like she might become more active in the battlefield. But point is, she was like, there to cheer up, get character developments and whatnot without need to be in the battlefield, as in fighting out and all that stuff. So that's my guess. But again, I'm gonna check these 3 series out. Hopefully they make a good first impression, and hopefully after the first impression, hopefully they can last long enough to see the light of serialization and see like the days of being one of the top sellers or anything else. I'm not including One Piece, because One Piece is already like the king of kings. No pun intended. But my point is, it's always good to try and make yourself stand out, and hopefully one of the 3, if not all 3, which I would like the latter to happen, succeed. Actually, before we get to the reviews, as you may know, Dragon Ball Z Revival of F, the movie has been released just now as we speak. And, from what I got some mixed reviews coming from Japan and some fans that actually went to Japan. And as I said before, judging by the movie summary, it really doesn't feel like anything special. In fact, it feels a more cop out, more WTF, more Deus Ex Machina than the last movie. And it's kind of funny that it managed to top that. Now, to be honest with you, I have not seen Battle of Gods, but I am going to see it eventually, especially with Revival of F is around the corner, and it's supposedly coming to the United States, all dubbed English. So I'm going to end up seeing this movie itself very soon. That being said, it is pretty disappointing to see that, I guess, not just because of the plot, but perhaps the action wasn't satisfying enough. Even my good friend who is vacationing over there said it's not a good movie. That's pretty shame. And then you have another movie, Detective Conan, which I heard pretty much the opposite, if not pretty much a more positive view. Seems like a lot of people really, really like this movie. Probably the best one yet. I don't know if it's really the best one yet, and I haven't seen them in a while. Detective Conan, or in American case, it's Case Closed. But, to see DBZ, let's be honest, DBZ has been milked to death. It is overstaying its welcome, and it is being pushed too much, and it's still popular, don't get me wrong. I still have a fond memory. It is still good in many ways. There's a lot of craziness, and not in the sense like Ghoul lagging, but in the sense of like, okay, so you just destroy world, now you want to destroy, okay, maybe it's like Ghoul lagging. But my point is, even with all that stuff, it was still a fun series. It didn't take itself too serious to begin with, and the series is supposed to end way back, believe even before Dragon Ball Z era began. That being said, it is still milked to death. You did have Dragon Ball GT. Thank God it didn't go that long. You got movies, which is fine for nostalgic sake. I know Battle of God is supposed to be a nostalgic factor. Get that old memory, even though a lot of characters didn't play that much of a role, or didn't have that many combat to display. Just Goku and some of the others, but very minor. But anyway, hearing about Revival of F being well, the box office doing great, really great. From what I heard, it made $460 million in day one, so that's a good start, a hell of a start. And it's not even the end of the weekend. But in terms of maybe like quality wise, it probably be disappointing. It'd probably be really bad. I don't know. I gotta see the movie myself. I haven't seen Battle of Gods either, but I did see Battle of Gods from their perspective, and they said, it's good. It's good. You might not like it. Some of the things is kind of dumb. Some of the kind of things are a little bit but Revival of F at this time has been mixed. It's mixed. It's not negative, complete negative. is mixed. It was mixed to negative, but right now it's just mixed. So I'm still gonna see the movie, of course. I have a free time myself. Am I gonna see it in the theaters in the United States? Maybe, for my judgment, unless there's a leak again. But again, it is Dragon Ball Z, it is a nostalgic thing. It is what it is. So yeah, I'll check it out still. So let's get to the review, and like I said, it's going to be a short episode because the two absent manga. So let's get to it. Tokyo Ghoul 3, Chapter 25. And for a build-up for what is to come, it's pretty damn crazy, to be honest with you. I kind of don't, well, no, I don't know where this is going, because about this series is always like always a connection from all the other arcs, and they always go down to one major event. And with the whole Sasaki trying to find his memory, regaining his memory, whether it will kill him or not, it is a major factor of this entire story, perhaps the entire series itself. I won't be surprised he gets his memory back by the end of the series, and I don't know how long the series could go. I mean, this you never know. Tokyo Ghoul could go for all the way to part 3. This one is all about the CCG life, him as the investigator, even though that is not really Kaneki, but you get the idea. We are exploring the world of CCG investigator with the doves, the rankings, and all the whatnot. It's like the entire opposite from the Tokyo Ghoul, the first one, where we know the life of ghouls and how they're being classified. Like, this one is dangerous, he's a S rank, double S rank, triple S rank, and whatnot. And we still get the ghouls, of course, like the ghoul, how they work in this series as well. So that being said, is this arc really seems like it's going to be a very, very heavy story and character development for a lot of characters, mainly Sasaki, especially Sasaki, because this build up is killing me right now. So we have Sasaki finding the last survivor of a Oshiba squad, Hayashimoru, and luckily they found him before Takezawa shows up and just pretty much try to take down Sasaki. But luckily Sasaki is well trained enough to fight back. And I guess this is where we find out that Takezawa was sent there mainly for him to confronting Sasaki, because you only got the idea like, oh, okay, there's a war going on in the auction house, let me just send Takezawa, and he's hungry, he's crazy, and everything else whatnot. So we're getting the idea that Takezawa was being sent there just to meet Sasaki, and this is all plotted by Ito. So I do wonder what's the reason why he went there and was sent by Ito. I don't know. Maybe because they want Sasaki to regain his memory. I'm assuming that's the case. I guess that means Ito does know that this is Kaneki. And Kaneki has gotten far as a ghoul. He was like a double S rank before his death, well, quote unquote. So I guess they want him back or something, or they want to get something from him, because he is the old experiment while Takezawa is a brand new experiment. And maybe they want to take his Kagane. I'm not sure. I don't know what to expect. But from judging by how Takezawa was saying, like, hey, let's have a talk, let's talk about secrets and stuff like that, it's interesting, to say the least. I mean, come on, this is like Sasaki. Like I said, all these arcs from the previous arcs and everything, all these development really means a lot. I was pretty much used to each arc are their own world, and then they've solved their own case within that arc. But in this series, it's like a long branch of storylines. Like, okay, I really screwed up in here and there, so the next arc, I'm going to fix that up and stuff like that. I mean, not a lot of anime manga series does this, but, I have been reading a lot. Naruto has been doing that. It's always a world of itself. So you always have a nice, charming Naruto just walking down every beginning arcs. So there you go. And now we have Sasaki uses his Kagune on Takizawa, but as expected, Takizawa uses his Kagune, and it's pretty much similar to Yoshimuru. So that was expected, and it is interesting to see how much can he use that power. That the one eye owl one, the Yoshimuru edition. So I actually want to see how powerful he is using that Kagune. With that said, they now temporarily classify him as a SS rank, which makes sense because, again, that looks like an owl. It's the same thing. I'm not sure it's going to be a full effect. I'm not sure he's very used to that power. I don't know. Maybe there's some drawbacks. Maybe he hasn't used it in a while. Maybe he's still a rookie at it. I don't know. But I do know that it's dangerous and it's going to be a hell of a problem for Sasaki. So even Sasaki uses Kagune, I mainly expected that he might go to the Centipede. He's going to use a Kagana. But I don't know yet. Maybe in due time. I don't know. Because, that does require a lot of memory restore or a lot of out of control. Since Kaneki has become a demon per se. It's pretty much the demon inside of Sasaki. So I don't know how this is gonna work, but I'm very interested to see where this Takizawa versus Sasaki goes down. So now that Sasaki is having his own problems, he tells Shirazu and Saiko to go after the Nutcracker and pretty much leave him alone. Well, he didn't say that, but he was trying to handle things like by himself until Washu ordered them that they should leave him alone, go for after the Nutcracker with the last remaining guy, which is kind of screwed up, but I guess that's how Washu plays. I don't really trust that guy because he is coming from that family branch, and that family branch still has not been solved in terms of what is their situation in the past or even currently now. So that's something to be looking after. I'm still curious, and I'm glad they're still going after these plot threads from the past series. Well, the Tokyo Ghoul itself. I'm happy that he really didn't forget those and just like drop them or anything like that. It seems like one giant story that really everything you've seen means a lot. So I liking this, and I'm really enjoying the whole entire thing being played. Well, not the Washu part yet, but it is being more mysterious, especially how his name is still well known, even though there is some conspiracy behind him. But in due time. That said, we have Shirazu. He is a rookie being a leader. You could tell how he's trying to communicate with Washu. He's not good at that. I mean, if you look back in the beginning of the series, he is like a crazy man. Well, not too crazy, but he's like, I must kill Ghoul, do something like hyperactive. I guess, for the lack of a better word, he's hyperactive. So him being a squad leader isn't a suitable job for him. That's what these Quinkies squads are made of, like bunch of rookies in their own rights. You got Saiko, who's pretty much a lazy person, even though she's supposedly a really good ranking class. It's just that her laziness, her otaku life and stuff like that is drawing her back. Shirazu, he's just hyperactive, crazy guy. Not much of a squad leader, but I guess the squad leader is made for him to calm down and think carefully. Ure, I think that's how you say his name. The guy with the promotion. Enough said. He's like a lone wolf. He's all ego about promotion this, promotion that. He has a huge ego of his own. So that's the problem there too. Masuki, he's literally a rookie. You could tell by the first chapter, reading books and asking Sasaki like a teacher, like, can you help me this and that? So he's still learning this and that. And again, all of them had their problems. And then maybe this end of the arc can have them develop a lot of things to fix themselves up. But you never know. Maybe it would take time, but it is interesting to see where their path goes. So because of Shirazu is still a rookie to this, you have the other guy taking over and pretty much that kind of development is still continuing, and that kind of development will be on hold. So what I mean is that it will be on hold since right now they gotta fight the Nutcracker, but that story continues on in a much later degree. That's what I meant to say. So again, Watcher ordered them to leave Sasaki alone. He didn't like this at all. He bashed him, cursing his name out. But again, you always gotta obey your higher ups. You always gotta be very respectful to your higher ups. And still, he's not like that. Again, that goes to show you he's not much a squad leader. He's much of a hyperactive guy. That's just not his game. So again, they left them off, and we're pretty much left ourselves wondering how this is gonna go down. Then we have Miss Masuki and Ue looking at the bodyguards that is basically from Ugiri, and right before they're about to strike, well, Ue is about to strike, Susuya shows up, good timing, and pretty much is gonna handle with them as well. But again, the guy's all about promotion. He just wants to have promotion this, promotion that. Up to the point he's like, maybe I should split in half. That would be okay, right? I could split in half the promotion as long as it's just me and him and no one else. I don't know. I'm not sure where he's going to learn about promotion. It's not really needed. Where, teamwork is going to be the most main factor. I don't know if he's going to learn any of that in this arc or even in any time. But he better stop thinking about all by himself. He better start thinking about everyone else. We'll see. But it is interesting character take. So we have them going against the whole entire bodyguards. Now, Suzuya was a little bit afraid that Ayato was going to be there. Because if Ayato's there, then it's going to be more troublesome. Because he is a really strong ghoul. So luckily for him, Ayato is in another place rescuing Naki. Because Naki, I guess he lost his mind. He was about to get killed. He just lost everything. It's like he's not even in the right place. So Ayato came up there and saved him, shockingly. So that was nice of him. Unfortunately, Madam is being under attack, or more like her Madam secure place is being under attack because the bodyguards are left to Suzuya and Ue, who they are pretty strong themselves, and especially Ue because he has himself improvements experimented. So I don't know what can we expect from him, but hopefully it'll be good because they did say it could go wrong, but we'll see. So this chapter has a lot of build up for the next chapter and so on. Because you just have you have three scenarios going on. You have Suzuya and Yure going against the Aguri bodyguards and reach to their main objective, one of the main objectives, and that is going after the Madam. Then you have the rest, the Shirazu and Psycho going after the Nutcracker, which is their case to begin with. So it's something like a coming full circle. Interesting take. And then we have Sasaki going against Takizawa, which Takizawa seems like to have a better hand. And I do believe that Takizawa versus Sasaki will be on hold for maybe 2 chapters later. I don't know. Because we still have Uta against Hiraku. So it's so many paths going on. It's like One Piece all over again. Except, they have their own storyline to go down with, and they had to accomplish them, because it is their mission. With One Piece, you got henchmen, and they just take it down. Sometimes they had to take down the henchmen because they do have something that requires, a heading path to success. So, some arcs does that. Some arcs is just like you beat the bad guy because he's a bad guy. That's it, and stuff like that. With Tokyo Ghoul, it is a situation of they had to do this because it is part of the mission that has been going around for a while, and it is like a plot thread. It is like a development for each character. Like Susuya going after Madam. If he does reach to Madam, he could finally get his revenge on her because she is the one that screwed his life so badly in the past. Then you got the Nutcracker case, finally having Sasaki and his squad taking care of that after so long. Well, it's not that long, but you know what I mean. And then you got Sasaki going against Takizawa. Both of them could relate being a one-eyed ghoul. And, Takizawa was sent there to meet him for whatever reason, but we're going to find out very soon. So there's a lot of path going on. And I'm excited for each and one of them. I'm mostly excited for Sasaki because again, maybe the centipede might come out again. Maybe, I think most likely Kaneki inside him is going to come out again. And it's just going to be a very interesting moment. It's going to be a very heavy plot development, story development, character development, all the developments for these guys. And I'm really excited to see what's next. So no One Piece, no Bleach. So then that means we get to Fairy Tail, and that is chapter 428, which conspire more conspiracy that people thinks that this series is truly mocking Naruto. I'm still sticking by my words. It's a big coincidence, but I understand you guys. I completely understand that you believe that this is mocking Naruto. I won't be surprised it is. But as of now, it is a big coincidence. So let's get that out of the way. Because to be honest, I can actually talk about this. It is rather funny that the series does have a lot of moments that does seem to really, 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 really mock Naruto. And there are moments that I facepalm, not because of Fairy Tail, but more like, so you got one series doing this right, and then you have the other series doing this completely wrong. What? I mean, it's not that Fairy Tail is like a great manga, it's a great series. I mean, it is a subject to be, opinionated by other people thinking it's a great series. To me, it is a good series, and you got to read it for what it is telling. It's not like it's trying to be 100% serious. It's not trying to be a very, very morality story, minus the fact, the whole friendship thing, stuff like that. But my point is, it's not trying to be too edgy. It's not trying to be complex. It's not being like that or anything like that. It's just doing what it is doing. Have a fun adventure. So, that said, there's going to be moments that we see a comparison to the other series, mainly Naruto. And again, Fairy Tail is a simple series. So seeing something so simple, so easily addressed, and then you see Naruto that's trying to be so complex and everything, be edgy, and then you just, and whatever Fairy Tail does so simple and just come across easily, it's kind of embarrassing. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe it's just a little bit laughable to see, like, wow, a simple series with a simple storyline could do such a simple address, and then the other one is trying to be so complex and everything. It just come out like, so what? No. But let's not talk about that. Again, a big coincidence. If you want me to talk about that, I'll probably end up talking about it through Tumblr. So look forward to that, I guess. Let's get to the review. Alright, so we got Wendy hoping that Nasu and Gray, hopefully they find Gray and come along nicely, bring back Gray to their guild, of course. Not without the fan service we have. I mean, I understand Wendy has to help Juvia, but the way it's handled is obviously a fan service, and it's, what it is. I can't escape from them. It's Fairy Tail after all, but whatever. Anyway, so they're recapping, like, well, not recapping, but more like, it's like, okay, I'm hoping that if Gray do come back, I just don't want Nasu to fight him. It's like, well, that is their thing. That is how their bonds work. So, lo and behold, we saw them fighting each other, and Nasu's acting like everything is all handy dandy. Everything is like, hey, this is a good time, stuff like that. But then again, this is Natsu's way of communicating Gray to, since they are friends, they are rivals, and they both know each other, that they always pick up a fight each other and stuff like that. Unfortunately, Gray, you could tell he's different because he ends up stopping the fight and think this is pointless, rather than like, hey, it's all fun and games like before. So you started to see the difference from the Gray today and the Gray from the past. And it's a little simple notion like that. You could easily tell what the character has been going through, or you could easily tell how much the character has changed. It's simple like that, but it works. And Gray telling Natsu that those days in Fairy Tail are behind him. They're done. Fairy Tail don't exist. Then Natsu, try to persuade him like, they do exist. It's in our heart. It's in the memory. That's where it belongs. So then Gray counters him, saying like, if that's what you think, then that means you really don't need me here when you really think about it. So it's a good counter. It's a good point because if Fairy Tail does come back, some people just want to move on, and Gray is one of them. He's moved on to another chapter of his life, which is vengeance. But point is, those days are behind him, and people are gonna move on. And if you're gonna go by memories, then just remember Gray used to be a Fairy Tail member. You used to be a good friend of yours. Just think that, and even though he's not physically there, that'll be okay. It's kind of funny how that works. The only problem is Gray's like talking about moving on and talking about like telling Natsu stop acting like we're BFF, best friends for life and stuff like that. Stop acting that way. I'm like, you could tell Gray is not really in his mind because of the darkness, the power of darkness consuming him. But the fact that he called out Natsu saying that quickly act, how is that an act? Of course it's not an act. We all know it is never an act, and we all know it's neutral bonding is genuine friendship between them. So him saying that, pissed off Lucy, and Lucy just giving a good smack of him because, Lucy was separated from the guild. And, by force because, Makarov says we're all going to go separate. And it's been a year. So hearing Gray saying that, Fairy Tail, whatever, we're not really that comrade anymore, that's upsets her. I can't blame her. Again, a year. And, that was her home because she lost her home when you really think about it, which actually makes this moment more stronger than it needed to be. Because if it was like Lucy, if Lucy was still cool with if Lucy had a family of her own, if the whole development from the past didn't happen, like the whole hate the father was such an asshole, then, kind of feel sympathy but still hate him, and then he dies giving her his final blessing without her seeing it. It's pretty sad for her, and I could understand this whole development, this whole characteristic being displayed from her. I like this scene. And then she got a huge pain. I don't know, it's a real bad pain, and Mashima did a good job on showing like how painful it looks, and you see her just crying out from the pain. It looks pretty bad. And in the joke common sense, I was actually based it on Tokyo Ghoul, because in Tokyo Ghoul you have this one character going through her time, as you know what I mean. So I thought something happened like that. Okay, not to Lucy like, oh, oops, that came in the wrong time, but more like somebody else is doing it for her. Well, it is doing it for her, but not that sense, but just more of a pain, and that coming from Mary, which already I hate her. So I don't know what she did, but to the point, but it seems like she's still in great pain. I don't know if it's still going on in the next chapter, but if it does, God, I don't want to see any more of that. So yeah, we have that. Then we have Gray showing off that he no longer has the mark of the guild. Instead, he has the other guild mark. And you can't really blame Gray. Not yet. You can't really hate him yet. He does need an ass whooping. I give him that. But you can't really hate him to the point it's like it become annoying, because Natsu did in fact invade a guild that are naturally bad. It's not like Gray want to find him and kill Natsu. Maybe not yet, because remember, he still want to kill End. And the End is Natsu. But my point is, he hasn't been like a total asshole. He's been like, can you just leave me alone? Because I had to do this mission. And then, since he's in a guild that are naturally evil, of course, bad things gonna happen to them, just not to Gray. Just not by Gray, I mean. So, oops. But I do wonder how long this is gonna last. This whole Gray being in the dark side. It could only last this arc, because this arc is building up as I notice more and more. And I still expect Sabretooth to join in soon, because they're not the type of guys that's just gonna stand behind, especially taking orders by a guy who's not even in their guild. So it should be interesting to see where this goes next. And I do believe Juvia and Wendy might end up going there, because there's only 2 against, I believe, 7 members in there. I don't remember how many members. So, in due time. Then we see Gajio. And as many guessed it, Levi is in fact a council member. And she looks good in there. She looks pretty good in that clothing. She looks good as a member. It really matched. And I'm happy, this kind of scenario is going on with Levi and Gajio. Gajio makes sense, especially, like those punishment side of him. And, you have Levi talking about, like, how they're going to handle Gray. And Gajia is like, we're just gonna handle like we handle with everyone else in terms of being an enemy, and that is just beat his ass, either take him in jail or kill him. I'm not sure, but the point is that's how they're gonna work things out, and they're not gonna let the friendship of the past put them over, because again, if your path is different from the others, then you're an enemy. Simple as that. And I did like the whole Gajio. Again, it's mocking Naruto, but I did like the entire explanation on, like, what about the karma and stuff like that. If we let that happen, if we let that override us, we're going to let them win. Because, our old feelings of the past are just going to hinder their ways. And if that happens, you're going to have the innocent people of today just taking the toll, their life being their life being taken away just because you failed to take down your former friend. If you're a former friend, then that's just it. Former friend. If he's gonna be your enemy, then that's your enemy. Plain and simple. You're not. If he's doing something bad or he's under somebody who's bad, you're just gonna see him as an enemy and you're gonna take him down. Put the friendship behind. That's how it works. And I like this because this match Gajio. Gajio is like this. He is that kind of character. I do believe he will see the darkness of Gray being the same thing that he was dealing with back in the Grand Tournament. But other than that, I do believe Gajio is going to really kick his ass. Or maybe it'll be a good equal battle. But the point is, his idea is to put friendship behind and see him as who he is today. So that's interesting. Of course, that's expected from him. But because come on, when an enemy is an enemy doing the bad deeds, and even if he's your friends, so what? If you consider former friends, that's how it is. So put that behind, take them down, kill them if you have to. It's gonna suck, but you're the enemy. That's your fault. It's kind of like raising your gun. And the other guy shoot your leg, because he could have done differently, but you scared the guy or you threatened them. You can't threaten them. I'm not gonna go that deep with the brutality. Let's not go too that deep. I'm trying to use the best examples as I can without going deep, because I don't want to talk about that. But my point is, when you come across the enemy like that, you just have to see him as what he is today. If he becomes your friend somehow, fine. I guess you start seeing that way too. But if you see him an enemy, you have to see him as an enemy. None is more than that. So overall, this chapter was a nice chapter. It was a good chapter. I enjoyed the whole Gray and Natsu interaction. I expected they would not have a fight, and in that time they will have a fight later on, but not now. I expected that. The whole Gajio thing, it's going to be interesting to see what happens once he meets Gray. Will he be a total hypocrite, or will he be bewildered by the old friendship? I don't know, but what he said is true. It makes sense. It's simple and it's true. So I'm interested to see the next chapter or the entire arc itself. It's building up and it's gonna get good, pretty good. Right now it's interesting and it's not bad. It's good actually. So I'm happy to see Fairytale doing this route. I'm happy that Fairytale is doing more and more good deeds. And I'm actually more happy the fact that Mashima is really going to do 2 chapters for a whole month. Then in a month length, I mean. So yeah, 4 weeks of 2 chapters. That's insane. Huge kudos to the guy. I gotta give him a lot of credit. This guy really likes working in this kind of job. So I can't wait. So next, the 7 Deadly Sins, chapters 122. And if you're expecting some answer from the last chapter with the whole everyone is dead, everyone is injured, or whatever, heavily, badly injured, and Goddard being naked, laughing his ass off. If you're wondering what's next, if you're wondering how they all survive, how they get rescued or anything like that, that's not gonna happen until much later on. So because in this chapter, we are now dealing with Guild Thunder, Hauser, Grimoire journey. So that's the case now. And that said, we're starting over from the ground up, actually basically going through the introduction phase, the building up phase, and it's not a bad thing. It's just now it's like meanwhile scenario, because 10 Commandments again, they just finally come back. And they are like browsing around, seeing how much the world has changed after 3,000 years they've been sealed. So they noticing a lot of things has been changed. The whole Holy War with the 5 types, has gradually changed over the years. And basically the whole the magical powers are now being handled through humans, plants, the living beings. So it seems like, wow, everybody has messing around with these kind of magical powers. They still see the human beings being the low lives, being the weak link, the second rate, third wheel. Basically saying the humans are whatevers. They're you could say like the weakest being. Stuff like that you hear in a lot of other series, or definitely a sci-fi series. So that's basically what they're talking about. Then they meet up, well, not meet up, but they bump into some villagers. I believe they're farmers, and one of them, I don't think they give us the name, except for Galen. If they did give the name, I probably forgot or missed it. Most likely forgot, but at this time I'm just gonna say he and she or whatever. So bear with me for this. Sorry. So you have one of them, that woman who's pretty much almost naked. She being persuaded by one guy because I guess he found her attractive. Well, she is almost naked, so I guess it's easy to make them like interested, right? So he was like telling her like, oh Missy, you're in this garden and stuff like that, and then all she did is proceed to take his soul. She ate his soul and pretty much get the flavor of that soul. Got that little mix of magic in there and whatnot. It's a bit weak and stuff like that. So apparently they can eat people's soul, which is more scary than it needs to be. These 10 Commandments of Fraudrin. Like, explained the whole, again, he already explained the entire 3,000 years later, the living beings are now using these magical powers, and you could say they've been nerfed, they've been powered down. I'm not sure, but basically now everything is being shared rather than the usual types. The one the one from the Holy Wars are these demons, these 10 Commandments are used to. So now they want to see what could be the most juicy one of them all. So that one girl decided to summon a summon ring that pretty much summons a lot of different demons, and that will lead to the later event in this chapter. And then we go back to Grimoire, Hauser, and Gildan. They're going their journey, exploring the truth of the well-being of the whole demon and Dreyfus. So not without comedy segments. And basically the comedy is that Grimoire seems like a homesick because he always like, oh, we're going there? Yeah, that's the time where I was searching with Veronica, searching for Elizabeth. Good times, good times. Hauser's poking fun of him like, oh yeah, because you like that tomboy princess and whatnot. He's like, oh, shut up. And then he's proceeding saying like, she could make herself appealing if she put her boobs upper, press it more up so he could appeal to everyone else and stuff like that. And he goes, shut up, this. Gildan, this seems like he's all cool. Only that he really regret bringing them because he's like, I didn't think about this through. If I brought them here, if I brought them with me to this journey, I thought, they would be, all cooperative. But instead, they're like two children just fighting each other, arguing each other like children's. So Gildan is like, damn, what have I done? So, too bad. But then we have the village, all ghost town, more or less. Well, it's not all ghost town, but they found people that's already like lifeless, soulless, and they're wondering what's going on. And then they bump into the right timing of the red demon striking down the village with people still around with their life. And they attack the red demon and they take him down. Some souls came back to life. That is until we got another demon coming by. Which, by the way, I did like the reference for the red demon and the new generation. The whole experiment of the new generation. It's nice to know that they get the understanding the new generation got it from the red demon. It was a similar power from them. So now when they found this another demon, which is called Ashen Demon, they Gildan realized that it's a similar form as Hedrickson demon form when he took the experiment and shot it to himself, which he's right because it is the same one, only this time is alive. And if Hedrickson was that powerful, almost managed to take down that whole entire the whole entire area, then could have taken down the Britannia. If he was that strong, then that means this Ashen Demon is that strong, and it could be a very, very different story from a Red Demon. So, damn, this is going to be bad. That is until, you guessed it, Hedrickson actually made an appearance, and they're all shocked to see him alive. Who wouldn't be, because this guy would never die. So, that's the chapter. And, it's a good chapter. This is building up to now Hedrickson making a scene again, coming back. I strongly doubt they're going to, forgive him that easily. Apology or something, stuff like that. I do think this might be a good time to have Gildan and the others to give him a chance, but more like prove himself, see if he's reliable. But they're not going to befriend him because obviously look what he did. He killed a lot of people back then. He be experimenting people with the red demon blood, everything else. Too many crimes. So now we're going to see their interaction. Should we trust you? Even if we trust you, you did a lot of crazy deeds, a lot of bad deeds. So you have to be punished and stuff like that. And they probably might slide them for now because Hedrickson does know these demons, and he does know the 10 Commandments are back and they're about to strike hard on everybody else, especially when the seal is still on them. So if the seal disappeared, it's all downhill. It's pretty much game over for everyone else. So I do believe they're gonna take him in and they're gonna rely on him for now, even though they might not like it at all. And they probably and Grimoire's there. He probably think, well, then again, he already knows that his father is alive, but just not him. But he might ask him what's happened to his dad. Did he change? Why he changed and stuff like that? Because how long does he know about this demon form and whatnot? So it's gonna be interesting to see the interaction. and the fighting part too, because Ashen Demon should be another case of like, a very troublesome moment, since again, this is where Hendrickson took the blood from. So overall, this chapter wasn't good. It started off again. If you want the answers for what just happened before in the last chapter, again, that's gonna be on hold, and I won't be surprised to be on hold again after this part of the meanwhile storyline takes place, because for all we know, we might go back to where Bond and King is at. So it's gonna kill us more time, and it's going to be interesting to see how they all going to come in full circle, and how maybe they all going to start working together. The Hendrickson again coming back, it's going to be interesting to see the interaction, and then if they come along together with the 7 Deadly Sins, it's going to be more interesting to see how they all going to recuperate. So overall, good chapter. I want to see how the interaction works. I hope it's not apology or something. Let bygones be bygones. Things has to progress itself. So, we're up to Boku no Hero Academia chapter 38. And I kind of hate to say this, but chapter 39 is out, and I'm reviewing. So late. I'm late. Damn it. I tell you, the scheduling is surprising. It is surprising. I just don't know the timing of it. I mean, I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. I'm just I'm reviewing now, but don't worry. I'll still do it. So I'm just gonna ignore chapter 39 and just follow only chapter 38, and to see what I could come out with this without thinking chapter 39. I mean, it didn't change my opinion of 38, to be honest with you. Just try not to reference, like, make it seem like, oh, it's going to have a great match, because it does in the next chapter, or stuff like that. I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm expecting the next chapter to be explosive, stuff like that. So anyway, again, this fight between Deku and Todoroki was anticipated heavily from the last chapter, because with the whole past from Todoroki. Well, even though we haven't seen the past, see, I'm referenced to chapter 39. Even so, we haven't seen the past. You get the idea that Todoroki doesn't really like his father, and can you blame him? You marry, get a kid just to surpass All Might. Who does that? So, I mean, people do it, but it's pretty damn shame. So, the fight is about to begin, and Rukoka comes back looking so zoned out. She has a funny expression face, I gotta say. She's been having these, some amazing expressions these days. Got her look so ferocious, got her looking kind of scary with her eyebrow tangling. I have no idea how. Then you got her looking like, oh, yeah, I won. So, okay, let's do this. All zoned out. It's hilarious. So, she always keep me amused. So, yeah, she managed to come back. And thankfully, because, this is Deku's biggest fight from the way it's going on. And it seems like the most important fight so far is because not only you have a lot of people anticipating to see this fight, not only a lot of people have been making out to be one of the biggest event ever, since Todoroki is in fact a very strong hero, and he could have that one strike that he has been one-shotting every fighter so far. So it's kind of hard what to expect from him if you manage to succeed not getting one-shotted by Todoroki. And that's what makes it interesting to me, because Deku, he's a guy who analyzes the fighters, and when he analyzes, he can see any openings, he can see what's their weakness, what they always do, and stuff like that. Unfortunately, he always one-shot people. So because he keep one-shotting everyone, Deku doesn't know what to expect from him if he managed to not get one shot. So everything he has to start strategizing the fight within the fight. And that's making it interesting to see if he could actually be smart enough to know his opponent during the battle rather than knowing his opponent before fighting. So I like this kind of aspect of this battle, seeing how much he can go, and I do like the fact that Deku does have a limit of his own, because lately he's only been using his fingers when he comes to one for all. Though again, one finger means damage. Like if you use it once, it will be damage, and the next it will be. I wouldn't say not usable, but it's more like, why use it? You're only gonna break it more worse, and you're only hurting yourself further down the line. And of course, it does help. It does, it does hurt you like hell. So why do it further if you got the other fingers to take care of that? Even though look, none of them are good. Okay, they're just a bad option, and it sucks that he hasn't gotten used to it. But what can you do? He is young. He is still new to this whole quirk of one for all, but it does make it battle interesting to see the limits. Because like, if he uses all the fingers, then what? So again, this is what makes it interesting, and it's great that this chapter is starting to showcase what the potential it has in terms of battle. I mean, it has a good potential. It really showcased the characters, the setup, the settings and everything. It seems so far so good, and now we're just missing a battle. I mean, I'm not saying if it doesn't have a battle, it's gonna suck, but this is about a manga, and with the whole superhero concept, you just want to see a battle. You want to see how it goes down the line, and stuff like this will add more excitement to the series. I mean, I was enjoying it already without the fights, but I don't think it could last long without those fights. And it doesn't, and I don't mean like the fights within the tournaments. I mean the fights in general, against the villains, against your own guys, something, whatever happens in the future. So seeing how the fight could potentially showcase here, it already shows promising to me. It's promising for the future, and it's what is good enough to see Todoroki. Instead of trying to one shot and keep doing the same old, he actually doing more movement. He has agilities. He has strengths. He is very mobile. He can do a lot of things with ice power. It doesn't need to be like a giant ice and that's it, because Deku's gonna keep blasting them away, which is good for one for all to have that ability to break them. Since the ice and his thing is like his power, it just breaks all of them away. So it's not like dealing with fire. Fire is gonna be a different story, though. Maybe you could say the wind blow from the one for all power blew them away, stuff like that. But in due time. So again, it's showcasing a lot of nice fighting action scenes. Nice, it really has a lot of good art description on the fingers tips, because you could tell Deku is suffering from every fingers that he used. They're heavily damaged. You could really tell from them, and it's like neatly illustrated. And I like what I'm seeing so far. I'm really liking this series. I'm really seeing the potential this has, and I'm hoping it picks up a lot from a lot of people. So without drifting away, we're going back to the chapter. They explained the quirks do in fact have limits, and Bakugo, out of all people, is the one to explain that it does have a limit. Everything has a limit, so the power has a limit, up to the point that he pretty much put the last battle he has with Uroka as an example, showcasing that she really did good. It wasn't all like an easy picking. She was really good, and Bakugo just had a little struggle. So because of that, it makes her look good, and I like that they went back to that, and it kind of shows you why Bakugo never understand what people sees in her as a fragile thing. Rather, he saw her as a good challenge, as a good opponent, and I like this a little snippet of here and there from him. Then we have Deku pretty much strike backs with his damaged fingers. So it's kind of scary to see him doing this. I'm hoping it doesn't underplay it, because this is a serious case. The fact that one strike breaks your finger, not completely, but it really makes it heavy damage to it. So I'm hoping it doesn't downtone the the risk factor of using the one for all, because I know he used a damaged finger to illustrate that you have two quirks, and if you're one of them are already at its limit, why not use both? Why not go all out? Everybody comes here to get a victory. Everybody would use all their powers and showcase to them, because they want to achieve that victory. They want to reach that height. They want to reach their goals. And if you have another ability and you don't want to use it because whatever reasons, then that's your loss. That is your fault. And you may have won, if you could have won easily if you use the other quirk, but you're not gonna do that because of some circumstances. So if one of them goes away and you don't want to use the other one, then it's your loss. So Deku provoke him to go ahead, beat me up. You haven't touched me yet. You haven't done anything to me yet. I've been breaking your ice. I've been dodging you. So now I want you to give it all. Come on, get at me. And then the chapter ended there. So I'm really liking Deku here. It's a good thing that Deku isn't an idiot. He's actually a smart guy. And now he's getting the courage more and more passing arcs. Because in the beginning, he doesn't have that much courage. But you can't blame him. He was going to have courage until he found out he can't have a quirk. He can't be a superhero. So that already bewildered him and already made him into a very coward. But you can't really blame him because he's been bullied by everybody else for the past 10 years or so. I'm not sure how many years, but the fact that his dream got killed off such early on, and then his dream revived thanks to All Might, and then he gave him the one for all power and all the other stuff. So now everything is coming to him, because back then you see him all scared. Then they even show that flashback of him being all scared, and then today's him thinking, I'm excited instead of being scared. So you know what? Bring it on. Stuff like that. I like this. I like this character progressions, and I do like the fact how Deku provoke him. It's like everybody's going all out, and you're not going all out, all because you're doing this and that, all because you don't want to harbor this guy. So why not get at me? And Todoroki did in fact say people are starting to see him as him and not the son of this guy or the famous guy. So at least he thanked him for that. So if that's the case, use the other power. Forget about the whole, I'm using my dad's. If you're not gonna care about your dad, and if you care about being seen as a one man rather than the successor of this person because he's related, stuff like that. If that's the case, guess what? You're no longer that. You're by yourself. You're you. You're no him. You're no her. Whatever. You're you. And if that is the case, then why not go all out? Go all out. And don't even think about anything else. Because that's part of you. I like this from Deku. I really enjoyed this chapter. This chapter was really good. This action is really promising for the future. It's really nice. The art is really good. Illustrated very well. I'm really seeing the series potential, this true potential. And I'm really hoping people picks it up one day. It is going to come to United States, I think, next month in May. So hopefully people from there are going to see its potential. I know the anime adaptation isn't going to happen anytime soon. But when that happens, I'm hoping for a huge boost. And that would do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, this Tuesday is a new episode as well as on Fridays. So from this point on, it will be on Tuesday and Thursday. And I'm still trying to figure out what to fill in for Fridays, because I only got One Piece and Bleach. I could add more manga series, even the series that I did not talk about in here and whatnot. Do not forget the extra that's gonna come out, a solo video on me reviewing on Naruto spinoff, which is in fact coming out next week if the leaks gets lucky, or we may have to wait until the normal schedule, which is April 27. So remember, there's going to be a lot of episodes coming up, a lot of special videos, actually just one, but there's going to be a lot of things to talk about next week. So it should be interesting. And I do hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Spread the words. Continue to support. Subscribe. I'm going to spread the word myself with this episode. I'm going to start timing the reviews so you don't need to hear the series that you probably don't care about or don't follow at all, whatever. So, this should be exciting for me to start reviewing in a separate scheduling cases, and it's actually going to be easier on me more so than harder than for me. So I can't wait to do all this, and I hope you continue to support me and continue to watch. So thank you again. Have a good day. Remember to spread the word, subscribe, whatever, and yeah, that's it. So see you next time, everyone. Take care.